Hello, welcome to Tutors of Life podcast, where we research life so you don't have to. Episode 438. This is your host, Shaun Tutor.
And this is Sam. And this is a talk episode where the tutors talk. I wish I would have brought a cough drop up here. I feel like a scratchy scratch.
Nice. So I was at jiu-jitsu on Tuesday, and we were chatting, Catlin, Rob, and I, and we were talking about belts and how, like, folks chase belts, right? They don't go to jiu-jitsu necessarily to learn and enjoy the process, but they go to get a belt, right? I'm like, yeah, that's just not me. Like, I've always preferred the training over the actual, like, I've always preferred training over, like, competing, or training over, like, you know, trying to...
You like the process. You love the process.
I like the process. Like, that's why I train. That's why I do anything. Like, more than, like, going in and hitting, let's say, let me think here. I had a goal of a double body weight bench that I never got to. I was 20 pounds off in competition. Anyways, but, like, I don't, like, I had that goal, but it, like, what am I saying here? Like, I just loved the whole process. So the fact that I never got there isn't, like, a big deal. I could probably start training again. It's just that every time I would be doing a train up for it, I'd mess up my shoulder.
Yeah. Because that was this, I remember when you initially sold Stable Living and we were starting Tutor Transformations, you were so excited because you're just like, I missed the process of starting a business.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
And I remember we talked about it. Like, you have just been way more of a fan of just the process versus, like,
the goal,
the end goal.
Right. And so that's how I feel about belts too. Like, I just like going to class. I like learning and whatever. And Catlin posted today what Google Gemini says about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Mm-hmm. And it's like this long post. And essentially, what it's saying is, like, if you're going to jiu-jitsu and you want to be a black belt and your goal is a black belt, it takes on average 8 to 12 years. Mm-hmm. But that's with training 4 to 5 days a week for 8 to 12 years. And they're like, if you only train 1 to 2 days a week, most likely you will never reach a black belt. Okay. Even with 20-year horizon. Mm-hmm. Because there's something about the amount of repetition in a short period of time that allows you to learn so much faster and so much more. So if you're not training 4 to 5 days a week, you can kind of check that off the bucket list of, like, you're not reaching it. Mm-hmm. You could probably get there with 3 to 4 days a week over a 15-year period. Yeah. Which is fucking insane to think about. Mm-hmm. But so, you know, what it's moved on to say then is, like, if you're only going to train 1 to 2 days a week, you need to accept that it's a journey, and you need to enjoy the journey and quit worrying about the belts, because the belts aren't going to come fast. Mm-hmm. And it makes sense because, I mean, I'm a white belt. I've been a white belt for 3.5 years, but I train on average 1 to 3 days a week. Right. I should say I average 2 days a week because, you know what I'm saying? So I average 2 days a week. It's been 3.5 years, and I'm fine with it. I'm like, keep me here. Like, I just keep me here. I don't need to go up. I'm fine. Like, because as soon as I'm a blue belt, then I have to seem like I know what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. As a white belt, I can just be like, I'm retarded.
You're just like, I'm a white belt.
I'm a white belt. I'm retarded. And they're just like, so that I know, like, when I get a blue belt, I can't keep using that as an excuse. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of like, well, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so anyways, that's where I'm with that. But it's a really good point, and it's similar to everything else. Like, I knew so in weightlifting, I switched from powerlifting to weightlifting. And in a year and a half in weightlifting, I qualified for the American Open. I think, is that considered nationals? I don't know. Whatever. It was, I had to qualify at a state meet.
So yeah.
Okay. So like I qualified for nationals and got to go compete at the American Open, right? And that took me a year and a half of training from scratch. Like I didn't know what the fuck a snatch even meant.
Right.
I trained on average 5 days a week, 2 hours a day, 2 to 2.5 hours a day. So figure I'm putting in 7 to 10 hours a week, and that was just in the gym. I spent another about 5 to 10 hours a week researching, watching video, watching technique, watching form. So I was putting in probably on average 15 hours a week into this sport, right? And then I had my diet, or I had meal prep and shit on top of it. And I talked to Kyle about it, and I talked to like people at work about it. They're like, why don't you work more? And I'm like, well, you got to understand. I was like, I got a part-time job. It's called weightlifting. And so I'm like, I spend 25 hours a week between lifting and meal prep. Meanwhile, you just work 25 more hours than me. We're not the same. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, you can't snatch 250 pounds, but I can, pussy. You know what I'm saying? So like, what I'm getting at is this. Right now, I average 2 hours a week on jiu-jitsu. If I wanted to be a black belt, I know from experience what it would take. Because here's what I'm getting at. I was spending 20 to 25 hours a week. I was spending 15 hours a week because I still meal prep, sorry. So I was spending 15 hours a week on just weightlifting, okay? I was better. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. There was only 4 guys better than me at the gym, okay? 3 out of the 4 of them were in a higher weight class than me, and they all had been doing it way longer than me. Okay? All the dudes who like did CrossFit, and so they would do weightlifting about 3 hours a week. They could not touch me. Even dudes that did CrossFit for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, even dudes that were doing CrossFit for like 8 years, 3 to 5 hours, some dudes were doing 5 hours a week. So 3 to 5 hours a week on weightlifting, they could not touch me in 1.5 years with 15 hours a week, because you get so much out of that 15 hours. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just about what I'm doing in the gym. If all I did was the 10 hours in the gym, I'd have been an okay lifter. Yeah. But I watched film, hours a week of just film, technique. What are people doing? I hired coaches. Like I got I would drive to the cities. After a year into weightlifting, I started going to the cities once a month so I could train at a gym with the guys up there and weightlift with them so that I could get better coaching and other people around me. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with like jiu-jitsu, and it was so cool. And this is the same thing with everything, right? Is like, if I want to be a black belt, I know I would have to put in 10 hours a week. 10 hours a week in if I figured 8 years, 10 hours a week, I'd be a black belt. But that would be 5 sessions a week and 5 hours of tape a week. Boom. But that's what it takes. Yeah. So let's roll this right over into our favorite thing we ever talk about. Business. Yeah. Tell me you're getting better at business and you ain't reading books.
Or listening to podcasts.
Listening to an audiobook. Tell me you're fucking getting better. Tell me you're getting better and you're not have a mentor. Or you're not in a group, where you guys bounce ideas off each other. You don't have a coach. Tell me you're fucking getting better at business without doing that shit.
Right.
You're not getting better at business just by showing up to business.
Right.
Sure, a little bit. Of course, you're going to learn a little bit on job, but it don't speed up your learning process. Like if you put fucking 10 hours a week into business development, let's say, okay, so you got to figure business. Let's say you put 10 hours a week into business tasks and 5 hours a week into development on your business tasks, you're going to start moving the needle. You're going to start surpassing others. You're going to start really thinking like a business owner and doing stuff that makes you more profitable, gives you lower overhead based on lower overhead percentage wise, I guess what I'm saying, which allows for better profit margins. But like, there's something to say about the amount of time and effort you put into something.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense too. Like if you think about like reading books and podcasts is like more of like a modern day thing. But like way back when, it was like a family owned business. So like it's not like you just opened a business and you had no idea what you were doing. It was just like, nope, like your grandfather had started it and then your father took it over and like you were raised into that business. So
Right.
you knew it front and back, left and right, everything. And I'm sure like throughout the years, like you constantly would learn stuff from your grandfather or father.
Definitely.
Yeah. And that's how like everything was. I mean, we used to learn everything from our parents and whatnot, but in everything you always have to continually learn and improve and to grow.
Right.
Otherwise, yeah, being stagnant's never a good thing.
No, definitely not.
Especially like now, like times are changing. Times change really fast now compared to what they used to.
Big time.
So like one thing, like I think all businesses will have to do is probably somehow incorporate or use AI in order to compete with other businesses.
I think we will get there really soon.
Yeah. Just by making things either more accessible or being faster at doing things. And like the automation part of AI, I think would be very beneficial for a lot of people. But it's just going to be so interesting too, because then if everything crashes, nobody's going to know how to do anything because everyone depended on technology for so long. And then you have to like start over and be like, oh shoot, we can't drive cars. We have to learn how to ride horses again.
Right.
So that's kind of interesting to think about too.
That
We'll have to relearn how to do math.
if we lost it, you're saying?
Like if technology died.
Yeah. We wouldn't be doing this anymore.
No, we wouldn't.
Wouldn't be doing this anymore. Yeah, it's interesting to think about, how that would work out and stuff.
But yeah, I mean, so this isn't a new concept of always learning. It's definitely something that's been going on for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Andy on Andy's Q&AF. It was really interesting because I feel like so much of the time that I listen to Andy, he just gets very riled up, very angry, because he's passionate, obviously, about a lot of things. But this past Monday one was the first one I've heard in a long time where he was like excited.
With that kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Young guy was buying a business from, was it his family?
No, it was
someone else?
He started working there like 10 years ago, and the owner of the business wants to sell it to him.
And so he has all these great ideas, and like it's a really good like business in general. And Andy was just getting so excited, like telling him what he should do, and he's just like, man, I should give that kid the loan.
Right. Yeah, he was fucking pumped, dude.
And so it was just really neat to like hear Andy be excited again.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, I mean, it's tough, dude. It's tough in this time to get excited about stuff.
Yeah.
And you see,
especially like in his world, like,
yeah.
I mean, he stopped doing CTI for a little while, or slowed down doing CTI because it was just making him really upset about the world.
Yep. which is so true. It's really true. But the thing is, and we talked about this, and you look at it over in Europe, if it's not talked about and it's not said, and people don't stand up, like, these cool things we talk about won't exist. You know what I'm saying? Like, you won't care about being a fucking black belt in jiu-jitsu. You won't care about being good at weightlifting.
You won't care about being able to travel to Europe.
No, yeah, none of that shit, because there ain't going to be a Europe.
100%.
There's not going to be a US. It's going to be a third world country. You know what I mean? So it's like you're going to be trying to figure out how to survive. You're not going to be like, oh, I got this extra time to fuck off and train jiu-jitsu 10 hours a week. No, it's like I have to do anything I can to survive, to prep for winter, to keep my family alive.
Yeah.
And so that's where it's like, people, we've mentioned this a few times on the podcast, but dude, you go ahead and you get yourself over to a third world country. You need to go visit a third world country. You need to see what poverty looks like.
Yeah.
You need to see what the rest of the world looks like when it's not a first world country. Then you need to ask yourself, are the policies and what is happening in your area leading you to that? Okay, well, that's a fucking problem. Okay, and if you look at the policy changes and the things that have been happening in the US and in Europe, it is leading to a third world country. You may not think so, but that's because you're not smart enough to look at shit. You need to pay attention to trends. You got to fucking look at history. You got to look deeper than the headlines to see what actually is going on, to see, oh, they are bringing in people from third world countries who do not abide by our laws. They are not prosecuting people to the standard of the Constitution. Everybody is not held to the same standard. Our food is literal trash. People are dying earlier. Like, all of these things. Start looking at these things and start asking yourself, why is this happening?
They're doing things so we can't reproduce either.
Oh, we looked at it today. 1.6. 1.599 now in the US. We're under 1.6 replacement rate for having kids.
And what was that? If you're under 1.7, you're a dying nation.
If you're under 1.7, a nation is never, I think it's 1.7 a nation's never came back from. Any civilization has always crumbled if they ever hit below a 1.7 1.7, what's it called? Not replacement rate.
Birth rate?
Birth rate. If you're under a 1.7 birth rate, there's never been a civilization in known history that's recovered. Everyone's crumbled.
Yeah. And here's, we know, I mean, people aren't having kids by choice.
Yeah.
Because they say it's too expensive.
It's also, we've also been indoctrinated that that you need to enjoy your 20s.
Yeah.
Women need to have their careers. They need to focus on themselves before focusing on a family.
Yeah.
And what happens when women aren't in prime bearing age? Well, they aren't bearing as many fucking kids.
Yeah, because they can't.
Yeah, if you're not having kids from 20 to 30, 20 to 32, and you're taking birth control that whole time, you get off of birth control, half these women can't even, well, I'm not going to say half, but a lot of these women then can't even have kids because they've altered their hormones for too many years. Let alone the ones that do manage to get off and it works. What do you got? You got 5 years, 6 years. How many kids are you really going to have?
Right. So yeah, I mean, there's that. There's the whole like PCOS is a huge thing now.
Big thing.
Which a lot of that has to do with, I would say, diet and exercise. PCOS is highly linked to weight issues. Not saying that's fully causes it, but it is highly linked. And then all this transgenderism. You're pumping kids. I just saw on X lately. It wasn't Charlie Kirk. It was a different guy. And he was talking about something about transgenderism. And this girl, Clementine, came up to him and told her story about how when she was 12, they put her on puberty blockers. When she was 13, they put her on TRT. When she was 14, she got a double mastectomy. Now she's 20.
Yo.
Guess what? Now she's trying to get reconstructive surgery to get boobs back.
Ha. Ha.
Insurance won't approve it.
Of course not.
Insurance immediately approved her to get a double mastectomy and to be on TRT. So she took TRT until she, I think, was like 17.
So hold on. When did this start?
12.
12. How old is she now?
20.
Okay. I've got something to say about that. Keep going.
But so she was like saying how like she's ruined now. Like her body is ruined. All because like people were pushing this agenda and telling her she like wants to be a boy and all this stuff, and she was just like, this is a terrible thing we're doing to kids. Like, we should not be allowing this.
8 years ago I was 22. 8 years ago I was 22, and I had fucked around with some steroids from 21 to 22, then 23, 24, whatever. But after a few cycles I realized my test did not recover. So I went into the clinic and I was like, hey, I fucked around and did this. I didn't really want to. Or like, I was convinced. I was like, I will get off essentially. If we can get me back to snuff naturally, I think I would not cycle. And we tried HCG for 4 months or 5 months or 6 something, and tried some Clomid, and it didn't work. At the end of it, my test was down to 232, and normal for 22 is around 900.
That's close.
It's close. And so I was like, well, what's my options? And the guy's like, the doctor at the clinic's like, TRT. And he's like, I hate to say it, but TRT. And I'm like, damn. It's like, I was really hoping that wasn't the case. But I was like, it is what it is. I was like, can I get it here? And I was like, I know insurance won't approve it. Like, I'll just pay for it out of pocket. Can I get it here? And they're like, no. I was like, what do you mean? They're like, sorry, but you're too young. I was like, I'm 22, and we just proved that we can't bring my test up. And they're like, yeah, we'd get a lot of weird looks in the like medical world for prescribing a 22-year-old testosterone. I'm like, I know, but we've got my labs that prove that what we tried did not work. And they're like, yeah, we can't help you. They're like, we recommend just getting it from the black market. When you're 26, call back and we'll try again. They're like, but really, we'd like to see you be 30 before we prescribe. I'm like, okay. I hit 26 years old. I give him a call back. I was like, hey, doc, Sean Tudor here, We chatted. And I'm like, remember me? He's like, yep, I remember you. I'm like, you told me to give you a call back at 26. It's been 4 years. Could I get on TRT? No, you're still young. Call back at 30. I mean, you'd be fucking kidding me. I was like, we got the proof. We have the proof. You won't do it. I was 22 years old. This chick's 12. And they gave her TRT that insurance covered, but you couldn't give it to me at 22, and I was willing to pay out of pocket.
And you're a biological male.
Yeah, dude. Are you fucking me?
Yeah.
That's how fucked up people. So whenever you think that they're not intentionally doing stuff to us, they're not indoctrinating us on shit, fucking ask yourself that. How back-ass awkward is that shit? And you motherfuckers just vote for that shit.
Yeah. So yeah, that was something I saw, which, I mean, it made me really sad because how many people are going to come out that are just like, yeah, they pushed this on me and then I took all these hormones and now my body's fucked. Now I can't have kids.
A lot.
A lot, yeah.
A lot.
So yeah, that was kind of sad to see on X. I've been perusing X a lot lately.
Nice. So I was talking to my friend Nick today, and I was talking to him about building. I was talking to him about developing and stuff, and I told him that, flips are sitting on the market a little bit longer. Things aren't looking as good, for selling. And I asked him what he's seeing in flips. He recently just sold some property and whatever. And he's like, the Fed decreased the rate by 0.25%. He said that helped him a little bit on his sale. But he's hoping that they keep the Fed said that they want to do some more decrease, so he's hoping there's some more by spring to get that buyers going again, make it a seller's market, or make it closer to a seller's market, more even keel. Like, yeah, it makes sense. But I asked him what he thought, what he's seeing. And I asked him, I said, hey, I was thinking about doing this. What do you think? He's like, I think that'd be really good for 10 years. I said, really good for 10 years. I said, interesting. Why do you say 10 years? He said, in 10 years, I could see there being an influx of housing. So why do you say that? Because I was interested to see what he said, because I have this belief as well. And he was like, yeah, well, in 10 years, you're going to have baby boomers pretty much all die off. Or the majority of them are going to die off. I'm like, okay. And he's like, who owns most of the houses? Or who owns a bunch of houses? Baby boomers, for sure. Mm-hmm. Who's staying in apartments? And, it's fucking whatever generations that are like 20 to 30, 30 to 40, whatever. He said, okay. And then he's like, well, what happens when folks go from like 65 to 75? A lot of them start moving into nursing homes and rental, or like more apartment styles, right? Yeah. Okay. So he's like, what's going to happen when 75 to 85 all die off, and then you're 65 to 75 move into apartments? You got the baby boomers die off, and then whatever's right under baby boomers. He's like, how many houses now hit the market? So, okay, interesting. And he's like, how many new rentals are getting built? I'm like, yeah, big apartment buildings are always being built. So he's like, okay. So he's like, well, what's the fucking population raising by? Which is 1.6. It's not raising, it's 1.6. So we're dying. We're dying. We're decreasing. So he's like, well, what are we going to do? We're either going to have a lot of vacant houses or vacant apartment units. He's like, because now, like, as our current situation, sure, we might be a little under on our, like, they claim that we're, like, low in housing. Okay, sure. But what's going to happen in 10 years? What's going to happen in 20 years? Because he believes in 10 to 20, he believes we're going to start seeing some stuff in 10 years. He believes in 20 years is when we're really going to be hit with it. Mm-hmm. Between 10 and 20 years is when we're really going to be hit with the fact of like, oh, no. We have excess housing. Yeah. We have more housing. And that point, they're going to have to look at like some sort of a restructure of housing and banking.
Yeah. Well, because, just look at when we drive around. There are quite a few vacant houses already, like in smaller towns.
Yeah.
Out in like the boonies more, like places that there's not a whole lot of people, like in dying cities, I should say, dying towns. Like, yeah, there are vacant houses.
Yeah, for sure.
So obviously, like, those people are moving to cities. So sure, right now it looks like Eau Claire is increasing population, but it's people moving here. It's not people having kids.
Right, you are. Yeah, it's just relocation.
Right.
Yeah.
So you do that. You can only do that enough. So obviously, like, I'm sure we know there's lots of people from the cities moving this way. So there's got to be, I'm sure, lots of vacant stuff over there.
Yeah, so depending on your location, you're probably going to be all right, because if your location is sought after, then you're probably going to be fine.
Yeah.
But I could see a lot of these, like, maybe really high-level Democrat cities, or some of these, like, really rural, small communities really being affected by this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
know, I just thought it was interesting, because I think the same thing. Mm-hmm. I've thought this for a while now, that we're actually probably looking at, I just don't think...
There's got to be a crash probably similar to 2008 happening in the next 10 or 20 years.
Well, I think it'd be worse. I think it'd be quite a bit different.
Yeah.
Because I just think that, like, the population won't support it. That's what I'm trying to, like, to me, because that's what's happening in China.
Oh, so it's going to be worse because it's not going to be just investors that are hit with it.
No, it's going to be, like, the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like your average person. Because investors were hit really hard in 2008.
Yeah.
Because they were, like...
over leveraged, multiple properties, things like that.
Right. But now it's going to be, like, people's grandparents are going to pass away, and then they're stuck with this house, and they're like, well, what am I going to do with this? Because nobody wants to buy it because there's not enough people.
Right. There's not enough people. Everyone's already got a house. Mm-hmm. And then it's the average person who it's like, yeah, they're banking on their house appreciating. You know what I'm saying? Because part of, like, they say that having a house is a good investment because after 30 years, it's appreciated like 2 to 3 times the value in 30 years, and it's paid off. Well, but what happens when you reach that point, and but it's not worth anything because everyone's already got a house,
right.
or it's worth what you bought it for 30 years ago. You know, that's kind of where I'm going with it. And maybe, I mean, depending on how they spend our money in the government, and depending on how all that like inflation and stuff happens, but I'm just saying like pure supply and demand. If there's not enough people to buy, where's the demand?
Mm-hmm. I mean, you can see it honestly in Eau Claire even. Look how many houses are on the market already.
Dude, there's a bunch of houses on the market already.
And there's a bunch of new builds on the market.
5,000 coming, homie. Or a bunch of new builds on the market, but 5,000 more units coming.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just like, to me, when you think about it that way, it's like, it's pure economics.
Yeah.
It's pure supply and demand. And to me, taking a 20-year horizon and looking at the birth rate, I'm like, there's going to be more supply than demand.
Yeah.
So if we bank all of our fucking, I guess the thing is though, like if you bank all your shit on real estate or a lot on real estate in 20 years.
I don't know what Mimi's doing down there.
In 20 years, everyone's going to have an issue.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's not just going to be you. In 20 years, everyone's got an issue.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's whatever. Yeah. You know, I don't know. I'm going to diversify a little bit, which I have already diversified a little bit, but it's just another thing to think about.
Yeah. I mean, in all honesty, if any, it's going to all crash.
It'll affect everyone.
Yeah.
Good.
But I'm very curious to kind of play into this, like what's happening in Nepal right now. Which was very interesting actually because I saw it before I heard it on Andy.
Sure.
So if you guys don't know, a whole bunch of the younger population are sick of how the government was running things in Nepal. So they kind of overthrew the prime minister, killed his wife. I don't know if they killed him.
Sure.
But I know on like a Discord chat, they like voted, from the one post I saw, they voted in a person to be the new prime minister, and the head of their military was just like, yep, seems legit.
Damn.
And so yeah, like the younger population was sick of how it was going, so they took over. And I was telling Shaun the funny thing that the person that I saw post about this is very leftist. Very leftist. If you have any ounce of right side opinion on anything, he calls you a fascist.
Yeah, this dude's ultra cock.
Yeah. And he posted about this, and I was just like, you're voting for the side that wants more government involvement.
Yeah.
And obviously that doesn't work because all these young kids just overthrew their government because they were sick of them.
Thank God they did.
Yeah. So I'm very, obviously that person didn't think about that when they posted that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just it's the standard, like, people don't actually do critical thinking when it comes to things like that. You know, they just.
Well, and the thing he posted too, it didn't say why they were like upset over the government.
Oh, sure.
But then Andy talked about it, and he was saying how they were sick of all of the government regulations and
sure,
like stuff like that.
Oh, dude, I just talked to Charlie about it today. We got a couple things going on, projects wise, build wise, stuff like that. And he's like, "Oh, just so you know, this is who's looking at being an inspector." And I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here." He's like, "Yeah, he's not very nice." I'm like, "Fuck." And I knew who he was saying. And I'm like, "This gotta stop, Charlie." I'm like, this is just stupid. Mm-hmm. You know? And I told him, I'm like, "Hey, just so you know," I was like, "wealthy is $6,000 a year in the Philippines." And he laughed. I'm telling you, dog. I'm like, we can make $6,000 a year easy. Mm-hmm. And I was like, we'd be wealthy over there, dude. I was like, you give me a few more years of some dumb shit over here, and you might catch my ass over there, dude.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, it'd be so much better because then you'd be used to like living in a third world country without technology or anything. Right? You're like, shit hits the fan, and you're like, I'm still living in paradise.
Already been doing it, homie. You know what I'm saying? It'd be easy, like,
because places like that, like, they're not gonna collapse, right? You wouldn't think.
How is it gonna collapse? The only thing that could happen is it'd be overthrown by China or something.
Well, but China's collapsing, so like, what are they gonna do? Just take over?
Bro, have you ever thought about it?
What?
Dude.
How much money we have in the Philippines?
No, okay, if $6,000 is actually wealthy over there, if we were to liquidate and we were to make like not much money, that's what we would just make that fucking every year doing nothing.
Yeah.
Dude, we'd be like real wealthy. Dang,
dude,
son.
that's like Japan. So when I went to Japan, it was only for
we should fucking consider that.
Yeah. It was only for a couple of days, but you could only take out of the ATM 10,000 yen. 10,000 yen was exactly $100 US.
Okay.
So, we all split that 10,000 yen by 2 people. So then we each got.
We could spend it every day and be chilling easy.
Yeah.
Bro.
So then we each had 5,000 yen. We had to fucking work to spend that amount of money.
Bro, yes. When we
I was
were
like, this is $50 US, and I'm like, struggling to find enough things to buy.
Dude, it's like when we went to fucking Thailand, Bali, Malaysia, whatever. And granted, we had the Singapore. Thank you. Granted, we had the cruise. Dude, we spent $450. No, $300 each. Was it $300 each or $450 each?
I thought it was just under $1,000
in total.
Okay,
so it's $450 each. So we spent $900 in total for 18 days out of the country over there, dude. And we were just buying random shit in Bali for fun.
Yeah,
we were just like going to shops and buying random shit. Like, it's crazy what you can do over there.
Yeah.
Well, look at it, dude.
I mean, it's all produced right in China, so it doesn't have to go far.
No, Doug, you remember Frank? Frank over there built those $4,000 a unit.
Yeah.
16 grand. He built a fourplex for 16 grand.
Yeah.
So he built a fourplex for 16 grand, gets $1,000 in rent per unit per year.
Yeah.
Dude, let's go.
Was that in Thailand or the Philippines?
That's Philippines.
Yeah.
Man. All right, homie. Interesting. Yeah, all I'm saying is if shit hits not hits the fan, but if I get too pissed off, dude, you might catch my ass fucking beating feet to damn Philippines.
We could go hang out with what's his name in Thailand? Tony Huge.
Haha, no. Probably wouldn't be doing that. But what I would do is I'd find Frank.
I'd find Frank,
dude.
Frank was cool.
I don't know how I'd find him, but I'd find him.
I'm sure somewhere, somehow. There's got to be there's no other Frank that's from Scotland, lived in Canada, and is married to a Filipino woman with,
that's true,
like a 10-year-old, 6-year-old?
12-year-old. And he showed me on the map where he lives, so I at least have like
a general idea
of the Philippines where he's at, dude. Just start asking people, where's Frank, dude?
And I bet you there's not very many people named Frank either in the Philippines.
We'd figure it out pretty quick.
Do you remember that there was that graffiti in Bali, Frank? Remember on that wall?
No.
We were walking down a random street and we saw like this beautiful graffiti and it said Frank. And I was like, I got to send this to Frank.
I remember that.
This is my boss, Frank, at the time. But anyways, okay.
Gangbusters.
We got to go take care of our child.
All right, gang. Thanks for tuning in. This was fun.
What are we talking about on Monday?
Oh, dude. So for Monday's episode, we're going to be doing real estate 101, sourcing, funding, etc. Real estate 101.
I love it.
All right, gang. Catch you then.
See ya.